Hi, Davi here, and today we have a new episode in the art review series, and today we'll be checking out the work of MINo or Minori here on Instagram. Now, I did find this guy or this artist recently here on well, Instagram, and it was one of the those recommended channels or suggested profiles. Let me just translate the bio over here because I want to see what they're saying. Okay, Naver webtoon max level breakthrough. Drawing in charge. Pen brush mainly used. Clip Studio, Gasa line drawing pen / real G pen. Okay, so I think they're trying to show the program and tool they're using for their drawings, and I think they have a webtoon. So I think it's this one. Let me just see. I can't read Korean, so my bad. But maybe it's their comic or their webtoon. Who knows? But I will let you figure all that out here on the I'll provide the link for this page, obviously, in the description below. And you can click like the comic Naver webtoon thingy over here. So anyway, just focusing on their style. Let me just use my pen instead. Yeah, I think they mentioned they're using like a default ink pen from or within Clip Studio Paint, and just based on the drawings, it looks pretty tight. Well, not tight in that it's like super like connected. There's a bit of a gritty, grungy, not grungy, but a rough nature to it, or a rough look to it. But it's very sort of detailed. Especially I've noticed it in regards to like the muscles, and even the way the hands and the feet are like sculpted. It seems like very. It leans more on the masculine types of forms, like really heavy, really like blocky. Some facial studies here. This one is colored, looks more complete, but they still try to show off those wonderful inks. They do have some hatches here and there, uh, not just for in terms of like details, because I know like these hatch lines over here, they're not for shading; they're more for illustrating like the type of clothing or texture, right? But I think for these parts over here, it's more about the shadow. But again, it's very minimal. You can even see a little bit of that in this wrap top part of the hand, and even some parts of the fingers. I think obviously this guy's a fighter, right? You can tell. I think it's supposed to indicate some blood marks, right? Some scratches, some bruises, maybe. You can even see some in the face a little bit. But the point is, it's not too. It's not a lot. It's very minimal. When it comes to the coloring style, it's like a cell shaded approach where you have like a flat and then shadows. Although I do see quite a bit of um soft edges over here. So I think they're using some kind of mixer brush to do that, but it's very minimal. It's almost hard to see. You'll see it too in like the hand or in the skin, not just in the clothing, where you see more or a wider range of values, obviously because of the amount of folds there is, but also in the hands, the face a little bit. But look at how the shadow was done for the nose. It even has like a cute, not cute, but a nice gradient. It's lighter at the bottom, gets darker at the top. Pretty cool. And look at the interior of that hand, the palm. It's so like you can feel like there's a lot of forms in it. And in regards to their ink work, I do see a little bit of uh texture, like specifically like a jitter. So in the edges, it sort of bleeds out randomly a little bit. So I do like that, and it really fits with their more uh the only word I can think of is a gritty or grungy. It's just a little more. It's not necessarily sketchy. It's just rougher looking ink work. Um, I think this is supposed to be Nightwing. I have no idea. I think it's Nightwing. Hopefully, I'm right. Uh, but yeah, this one definitely has a lot of hatches, right? But yeah, the muscle anatomy of this guy is super like well done, very like well defined. Um, and look at how some parts are just so like bleeding, right? Like look at how thick some of these parts are, and then it's complemented with these like quick hatch lines. It reminds me of the work of Charles Gibson. If you watch, well, he's dead, but he's like an old school artist. But if you look at the way he draws his figures, or his Gibson girls, as they would say, they tend to have this instead of using like one line to describe an edge, it's still done, but sometimes it's done with 2 lines, 3 lines. Like it's like you're sort of hatching as you go. Sometimes it's like 1 line, and then sometimes it's like 2 lines. So it has a very fluid, sketchy, I would say, way of inking. And I used to think it wasn't good for complete like illustrations, but you can get away with it. Well, I'm framing it. It sounds like I'm saying it's like a bad thing, but it looks good, just as good as cleaner types of line work. And we look at the amount of detail for this like guy, the facial features anyway. Pretty cool. And yeah, the line weight, aside from like the contrast between like these slightly thicker lines, and you contrast that with this like quick patch lines or quick like dashy lines. Um, th- there is um a certain dynamic nature to the thickness. Uh, Ignoring like these hatch lines, which already adds a bit of that. Like if you focus on like these lines, right, on the contours, especially on like the outer sort of lines, they're not always like the same width. Some do bleeds, and sometimes it's like it sort of bleeds out to an end to a really like thin point. So it's just a lot more interesting. Like your eye can sort of follow along, right? Um, Pretty cool. And I think we've discussed a couple of artists who draw this way. Right now, I can't remember them, but I'll try to name some in the recommended section in the description below. But if you have like an artist who you know who's kind of similar, then I do recommend you note them, type them in the comments so people can see, or I can see, right? But the feet and the hands are kind of big, but look at how it's just as sculpted or defined as the body. Like I do see a like a sense of consistency, right? Because sometimes people do skip when it comes to like hands and feet. They sometimes simplify it a bit too much compared to like the torso and the face. But I think for MINo over here, they like the way even the facial expressions, it has a lot of detail, or it's pretty detailed in the same level as say the body, the hands. I mean, look at this guy. It's a foreshortened shot. The muscles make sense, and it's just nice to see. And again, the contrast between these like thicker bleed like lines and the smaller like hatch lines are really really cool. Um, and yeah, but the hatches are still fairly minimal. For example, for the shadow of this chin over here, and the shadow of this like kind of below the eyebrow and beside the nose, it's there, but it's not taking up a big chunk. I think they really want to show like the anatomy, the clothing, the folds, and everything, and they're not exactly maybe a fan of hiding the uh details too much. I think this is Becca from the hopefully her name's right, but from the Cyberpunk Edge Runners anime. It's kind of short, kind of thick. Um, I mean, Lucy's kind of hot, but there's just something about I think her name is Becca. That's I don't know, a lot more wholesome. Anyway, I won't spoil it. So this guy's a lot like big or bigger. Wait, where was there an X? Maybe it's too small. Oh, you can't zoom in. So they do quite a bit of these. Oh, look at this guy. Oh, my bad. I think my internet. Jesus, give me a second. Let me just reconnect. My bad. The reason why it wasn't working, my extension was because my internet dropped out. I think a bit. Anyway, so it's just one guy, different positions, and I think the floor not just facial features, poses. So this guy's kind of flexing, and you can tell he's sort of puffing his face because when you're trying to flex, you're sort of holding your breath a little bit. So this is how you're gonna look like usually. Damn, this guy's ripped. Right, the muscles look so super, Jesus, super aesthetic. Right, and again, those hatch are very minimal. Look at this parts over here, right? These dashy sort of strokes. They're not overdoing it. They're very, very minimal in a way, or they just sort of hold back. And again, they do like detail, and even the teeth, the inside of the mouth looks so fucking cool. It sounds weird when I say it that way, but so we have like a colored piece. Oh, it's not even like it's colored, but it's like flats only. Um, so I do see a bias. They do like their characters a little more thick. That this one does have some color, but it's not all the way there. Um, yeah, the inks. Take away the colors, the inks just look so freaking cool. And there's no ambiguity there. Like they just draw everything out. Like you're not second guessing what that thing is. Oh, look at that guy. Oh, kawaii. Look at how buff this guy is. Demon time. Oh, oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5? 10 abs? Oh, that's too much. But I know some people. It's rare, but it does exist somewhere out there. Look at these hatchlings again over here. Let me just show you. Right? Like he just knows, or they know, um, when to add them or how or when to stop. Like should it be just one line, two lines, three lines, and they complement that with like these more fluid, almost like sumi kinds of ink work, because it's pretty like it really goes from thick to thin rather quickly, or sometimes to an abrupt point. So I think that you combine all of those inking techniques, and it just makes your ink work look even more dynamic. So here we have a blushing expression, kawaii. Maybe she's blushing because she's kind of saying all this. Yeah. Anyway, so um, maybe I'll mention. Let me just find my notes here. I just want to make sure I write some names down. Charles Gibson. I think it's Charles something Gibson. Or just search for Gibson girl. Who else? I think Hoya. Hopefully I'm remembering their name right. I did an RGB of Hoya before. They do a lot of like these gritty drawings as well. Although their style does change, I think way more than say, oh wow, MINo. Uh, but they have that sort of gritty, and also Meerkat something. I can't remember their name. Meerkat. Fuck. Let me just. It reminds me of one of the characters from Demon Slayer, the one with the ball. She's like a low. She's not a normal demon, but she's not exactly like high class, like top tier. But she's like an officer of some kind. But I think it's a woman, hopefully. Oh, right, very thick, very kawaii. Oh, look at those stirrup socks. Always a good thing. Even the way the calves were illustrated in this like pose. You can tell this one is a bit more foreshortened, right? Because it's sort of facing towards you. So knowing how to illustrate how a calf looks like from this view is very like you can learn a lot by just watching how others draw their stuff. Because I think once they've figured out something, or they figured out like a shorthand way of demonstrating or illustrating something, you can sort of copy it if it makes sense to you, right? And it saves you time. Anyway, if you look at the shadows here, I do see a lot more hatch lines for the shadows. It almost looks like they're using some kind of felt tip pen. It's definitely way thicker. It has a more drier look. So yeah, very cool. Yeah, yeah, they have a bunch of sheets like this where it's a bunch of where you have different characters. Sometimes it's focused on the face, a body, a monster. Even their monsters look super jacked. We have a zombie vampire at the bottom. Um, and some like a goblin maybe on the top right side. A lion guy on the left hand side. Yeah, my name. I believe these are Dragon Ball Z people, just based on the hairstyle. Um, what did they say, or how did they say Hadouken, where they did the power move thing? Hopefully, I'm right. Oh, she's thick. Kawaii. Oh, he can draw, or they can draw. I'm not sure if this is a guy or girl, but the artist, me, yeah. But yeah, they can draw girls as well. But interesting. Look at the way the shadows were done. They sort of encompass it within like line work. Instead of using some hatch lines or just painting on it or painting it, they sort of or block in the shadow area with a line, and then they sort of fill that in. But within those shadows, they have like some gradients here and there. Like it's not just a flat color. It's almost like a wash or a pseudo wash. Um, but yeah, take away the colors or the shadows in this case, the ink work is still like really solid. Yeah, I know. Okay, we have more cultured content. We have a guy here chewing bubble. Obviously, this is not the one I'm focusing on. A very cool eye, very aesthetic, pleasing eye, right? Um, I think these are supposed to be like hunter eyes, right? They're supposed to be the most aesthetically pleasing eyes. But this one is what I'm referring to, or what I really want to. It reminds me of the body of the Beast girl from Mushoku Tensei, the big one, tan skin. She has like a scar on her belly, super jacked and tall too. So, um, I think it's kind of like a wolf or a cat or something, but kind of hot. Damn, look at those biceps, those four. Oh, it's just so, ooh, mummy. Yeah, I think this guy is just under 10K. That's like 9K followers here on Instagram. So they get past that just because they have so much work. I mean, obviously now that they're on YouTube, hopefully you give this guy or this chick or this artist a follow. Oh, just because they deserve it, if I may. There you go. Oh, look, that those abs are freaking insane. So we have like a bunny girl. I feel like I've seen this kind of mask before. I'm not sure from where. But in this case, it's like the backside. MINo. Oh, even the folds of the bikini. That's pretty cool. Like it's being, you can tell it's being like pulled in these like spots. It looks a little more realistic. Yeah, there's just a level of consistency, or in terms of like detail, which I do like. Now there are some like exaggerated parts. It's not supposed to be fully accurate, but it's convincing enough for someone like me. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's 10 abs. Ooh la la. Come on in. One Punch Man, maybe. I've seen this one from. I think she's from Hero Academia. She's kind of like a vampire or something who drinks blood. That's my recollection of the. Yeah, and they're pretty diverse too with like the faces. They can draw guys, girls, and even like draw different kinds of facial features, different proportions, expressions. Um, a solid draftsman. Yeah. Clearly a fan of Dragon Ball Z. Oh, look at this. Is this Gojo? No idea. Oh, but look at oh my god. Kawaii. Itadakimasu. Okay, so we see a lot more colored stuff, more webtoony stuff. But I think for the recent work or posts, they've been sharing a lot more like drawings like these, like ink work. Um, but yeah, I guess that's it for this art review of MINo. Um, check out the work. I will link this page in the description below. And they also have like a webtoon, I think, link here. So if you want to see that, you can check that out over here. And yeah, so if you want a reason to draw, or if you're looking for inspiration to draw, um, your anatomy, your faces, your characters, it just improve your character art in general. I think MINo is a good artist to study, right? You don't even have to like complete like the full character. Like you can do stuff like this where you just focus on like half the body, just the face. Maybe you're just trying to explore some kind of expression. It doesn't have to be um the whole thing. You can just um draw at your own pace, at your own sort of. Oh, look at this guy over here. Um, yeah, just study what you want, draw what you want, and I think that's pretty much like the basic sort of formula. And you can tell this artist just enjoys doing their work. So yeah. So that's it. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.